we are going to look at Google Drawing, which is a tool that we can use to create lots of fun things for this class and other class. You can create models, diagrams, things that will help you understand your learning, but you can also use it for any sort of presentation, data collection, things that you may want to be a little bit more creative on. So when we use Google Drawing to set up a new page, we're going to click on this plus sign, new, right here. Now, Google Docs is available here, Google Sheets, Google Slides, but to find Google Drawing, we're going to have to go down to this More section. And right here, you'll find Google Drawing. So once we open this, the first thing that we want to do is name this. So I'm going to have you name it your last name, Google Drawing Practice. Okay, so at this time, go ahead and pause the video, create a new Google Drawing, and name it, please. When you're finished, come back and begin the video again. The next thing I'm going to have you do is change the background color of your Google Drawing page. So if you right-click if you're using a mouse, or two-finger click if you're using a trackpad on your Chromebook, then it's going to pull up a menu like this. We can cut, copy, paste without formatting, delete. We've got a few things on here, but if you look at the background, you can either select a solid color, and that will just change the background color to be one solid color. Or if you go over to gradient, then you can select one where we have a range of colors, or it kind of changes and adds some depth to it. My favorite part about this is that if you click on Gradient Custom, you can actually change the colors that you're dealing with. So if I want this to be something a little bit more vibrant, maybe I want to select different colors that are a little brighter. Or one reason that I've used this in the past was to create a model of the sun. So this right here says radial. It means we're radiating color from one specific point, from one central dot. I can change where it comes from. So if I leave this in the bottom left-hand corner, I'm going to change this to yellow so that it looks like a sun. I'm going to add different gradient stops, and that just means that I have a little bit more control about how my colors fade, and I can add different colors here. So I can't move this yellow piece, but if I want more yellow, I can add a gradient stop, change this to yellow, and then I can add this extra layer of yellow to it. I'm going to add another layer, and this is going to be orange. Add another one and make this red. So I can kind of just make a little diagram that looks more like the sun. We've got some space in the background. So what I want you to do at this time, go ahead and pause the video and create a background that you like. When you're finished, come back and begin watching the video again. The next step to this is to add a shape. You're going to add your Google Shapes. You can do it a few ways. You can go to Insert, Shape. We've got shapes, arrows, callouts, or equations. Or right here, we actually have a picture of shapes. We've got a circle and a square. If you click on those shapes, you have the same options. So I'm actually going to have you cut down to callouts, just so we practice using something that's a little less common. And I'm going to put a down ribbon. I can drag this to make this a little bigger. If I double click on it, then I can actually type on it. So I'm going to have you type your name. And just like when we went over Google Docs, I'm going to have you highlight this. And up here, this is our Align tool, Align. If I click on it, I can align to the left, center, or the right. I can also align it to the top of my shape, the middle of my shape, or the bottom of my shape. And what I want you to do is go ahead and make this a font that you enjoy. Make it big, maybe a little too big. A nice color that you want. And then we can also, as long as the shape is selected, you can change the fill color. Be a little brighter. And the outside color. Now this is our border weight, and we talked about it a little bit yesterday with our shapes, but your border weight is how thick the edge line is. So if I make it a really thick border weight, the edge of my ribbon is going to be really thick. I don't want it to be that thick. We'll go ahead and put it at an 8. Okay, so at this time, I want you to pause your video, insert your ribbon, type your name, and make it a nice, neat color, and change your font to something that you enjoy. When you're finished, come back and continue watching. The next step, we are going to add another shape. We're actually going to add 2 more shapes, so you can do all of that at the same time, and hopefully this will be a little bit quicker and easier for you. But shape, I'm going to have you add a heart. You can either drag it and make your heart, or you can click on the shape tool and add the no shape. If you just click, it's just going to make a standard size. So I want you to double click on here and type something that you enjoy. So I really like to eat chocolate, so I'm going to again center it. I'm going to make this one change my font size a little bit, make that fit. Fill this and make it red. Over here, make this yellow. An orange border. And then I'm going to type in it, my font to be, probably have to make it black. I don't like when people are mean to other people. Now, again, I've centered all of these. I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing here. And remember, if you click 3 times on your text, then it will highlight everything you have on there. So I'm going to center that, make sure it's nice and neat. Change my font. A little bigger. And I want you to go ahead and do the same thing to your page. So pause the video, add one thing that you do like and one thing that you don't like, and when you're finished, come back and continue watching the video. All right, now we are going to actually insert an image from the internet. So you can either insert, image, search the web, or you can click on this little icon right here that looks like a photo of mountains. So we're going to search the web, and I have a little black pug. Her name is Lilu. So I am going to search pug puppies. And this was actually one of the pictures that made me want to get Lilu. So I'm going to go ahead and insert this because I like pugs. So that's something else that you can learn about me, but that is how we insert a picture. So at this time, go ahead and insert a picture of something that you like. Now that you've inserted a picture, we are going to add another piece to this. We are going to insert an arrow. So one of the things that we'll use this for is creating diagrams. You'll have to drag and drop different pieces of information based on how they're sorted or how they're connected. So one easy way to kind of help you get started and fix your mistakes is to add an arrow. Now you'll notice that when I go to type or go to insert my arrow, if I go near one of my shapes, I can actually connect it to something. So right now, like if any time that I move, I connect this to a purple dot. Anytime that I move my shape or move my arrow, it's going to stay connected. Otherwise, I'm going to have to move each individual piece, and I don't want to do that. So I'm going to insert my arrow. And when I do this, I'm going to drag one side to my name, and I'm going to drag the other side to my picture. Now, you can't see this arrow very well, so I'm going to make it stand out. I'm making it size 8, making the colors match, and making sure that it's connected. So now anytime I move this, it's still connected. So let's say I decide I want to kind of rearrange some things, but I still want my arrows to be attached, then I can move them without having to move my arrow as well. And put that back where it went. And now I want you to go ahead, pause your video, and insert an arrow that connects your name to the picture that you selected. When you're finished, come back, and we're almost finished walking through Google Drawing. The last thing that I want to make sure that we know how to do is insert a text box. So if we click on text box, it's a little T that's inside of a box. If you hover over it, it will show you its title. And I want you to just click in a corner of your drawing. And I want you to just type me a little note. So you can say, hello, Mrs. Smith. You can say, tell me how you're doing. You can tell me something about yourself, whatever you want to do. Now, if I want this to look a little nicer, I've got some neat text around the rest of my Google drawing. If I highlight this, I can change my font size to match everything else. And if I really want my text box to stand out, or maybe my text color doesn't look so good where I wanted to initially put it, then I can put a background on my text box. So to do that, I have to make sure that my text box is highlighted, and I'm going to go over here to fill color. So now just adding a background to my text box helps my text stand out a little bit better. Or I could do something along these lines and change my font color to be something a little bit different. But I've got some options on how I can change my text box to fit what I need it to do. And again, I like to keep things centered so that they look a little bit more thought out. So we're going to move all this back up here. Okay, but I do want you to make sure you have all these pieces, but go ahead and spend some time playing with Google Drawing so that you're really familiar with it, and it's not something that you have to stress out about when I give you an assignment that uses some of these features. One last thing that I do want to just mention, I know we've talked about it in other videos as well, but the Scribble tool is a good tool. If I ask you to draw arrows connecting things and you're not really confident in using the actual arrows, or you just prefer not to, you can just draw your own arrows. And then again, to make those match or stand out a little bit better, you can do the same things that you've done with the other features. You can just kind of make some changes using the tools available up here. All right, please let me know if you have any questions. And don't forget to turn your assignment in. Remember, you need to attach this to your assignment on Google Classroom. So when you open your Google Classroom page, over here on the left-hand side, you have assignments due. If you click on this, there will be a spot in the top right-hand corner to help you or to show you where you need to connect your work. And then hit the turn-in button.